Now, we're told over and over again two different things. First of all, poor corporations, they pay too much in taxes. Now, I'm going to show you in the numbers that that is empirically not true. Secondly, we're told, oh, government, they're breathing down Wall Street's neck, and they're also breathing down, corporate America's neck, and poor guys, et cetera, right? In fact, we're told that the guy who's going after them is Barack Obama. Now, you remember back when Barack Obama was running for office back in 2008, and he said he would. He said, quote, "We are up against the belief that it's all right for lobbyists to dominate our government, that they are just part of the system in Washington, but we know that the undue influence of lobbyists is part of the problem, and this election is our chance to say that we're not going to let them stand in our way anymore." What has he done since? Nothing. He tried at the very beginning, this is hilarious, he said, okay, I'm not going to have any lobbyists in my administration. And then he was like, okay, well, I'm going to create like a couple of different exceptions, 2-3 different exceptions, because I really like those lobbyists, they're going to come in. And then they had no enforcement of the rule, meaning that what wound up happening was this thing called the Dasher loophole, where all the former politicians, all the lobbyists, just stopped calling themselves lobbyists. And they said, okay, well, we're not lobbyists anymore, and nobody's ever going to enforce it. So now I can go work for the Obama administration or anywhere I want. In fact, I can, funnel dark money to people even easier because I'm not calling myself a lobbyist anymore. Thanks, Obama, for fixing that. We really appreciate that. And after that, he didn't try a damn thing, and that is also empirical. He doesn't care about changing Washington at all, will make no attempt to do so, and certainly has done nothing positive in that regard so far. So this whole idea of changing Washington, the undue influence of lobbyists, well, I guess he thought that was a really funny inside joke that he was going to play on the American people. Now, example A in that is corporate taxes. Now, we're told over and over again by Republicans, oh, taxes are too high for corporations. And we were told that President Obama was going to fight for the little guy and against big guys like corporations and hold them accountable. But if you've noticed, as I've pointed out in every one of his speeches that he talks about this, President Obama actually argues for lowering corporate taxes. Now, the reality is they don't have to be lowered because they have been de facto lowered. Now, even though the corporate tax rate is 35%, and that's the one that everybody complains about, in reality, corporations on average actually paid 19.4% because of loopholes, subsidies, etc. So when they say, oh, we pay 35%, that's not true. On average, they pay less than 20%, which, by the way, is less than many Americans. But speaking of less than many Americans, let's get to the even more egregious cases. A 5-year study found that one-third of the corporations that they looked at, and they looked at 288 corporations in the top Fortune 500, paid a U.S. tax rate less than 10%. So a third of them are paying less than 10%. And look, even in sales tax, you come close to paying that, even if you don't pay payroll tax. But likely you pay sales tax, payroll tax, and then income tax. So you're paying way more than those giant corporations making billions of dollars. All right, but if you thought that was bad, 111 companies paid no federal corporate income tax in at least one of the 5 years in the study. 111 companies, no taxes in that 1 year, if you think that's bad. 26 companies paid no federal corporate income tax during the period at all. For all 5 years, paid $0.00. 26 of the largest companies in the world. Here's some of their titles. Boeing, you might recognize, GE, Priceline.com, Verizon. 5 straight years, no taxes at all. You paid more in taxes every one of those years than those giant companies combined, because they paid zero. In fact, between 2008 and 2012, there was $362 billion in tax subsidies. How do you like that for change? That's during the Obama years. Okay, so obviously there hasn't been much change at all. And of course, every time the Republicans cry, oh my God, look at this, they won't let us cut food stamps. Or they won't let us cut food stamps enough because they did cut them, right? Or, oh my God, the entitlements, et cetera. Well, there's nothing we could do. The budget's out of control. Well, there's one thing you could do. You could take away $362 billion in tax subsidies to the largest, richest, most profitable companies in the world. You can stop those giveaways. So don't ever believe it when they say there's nothing they can do. That's what they can do. Now, to give you a sense of the wealth redistribution that has happened on a mass scale here, they explain here in Citizens for Tax Justice. Corporate taxes paid for more than a quarter of federal outlays in the 1950s. Remember the golden years of America, right? In fiscal 2012, corporate taxes paid for a mere 7% of the federal government's expenses. It went from 25% down to 7%. Somebody's got to make up that money. The federal government has grown in the meanwhile. So who's paying more? You got it. You are. Now, if you're a conservative or a liberal or a libertarian, you should hate this. This is crony capitalism 101. This is corruption 101. And what have they done? They've redistributed the burden onto the American taxpayers, the regular guys working for a living, and made sure that corporations pay less and less of that share. That's what happens when you allow corporations to spend unlimited money buying politicians through campaign contributions and now through independent expenditures. It's just a matter of the system that you set up. So now we've been screwed for all these years, and we're paying the bill. Wolf-pack.com. Wolf-pack.com. If you don't fix this and you don't get money out of politics, in a couple of decades, they'll be paying nearly 0% of this share.